Wait, it's not work.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. What up? Sure. Sorry, go again. I don't know
Go
what.
again.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. It is a brand new episode of 2.5
Stooges.
Huh?
And I, for the life of me, I say, and I would always say that I, Renard Anderson, am the half stooge. Them battle it out to see who are they don't really care. Half.
See,
It will continue to prove itself.
the one that know the opposite always try to prove the other point. You know?
Yeah, we don't see what me say now.
So my name is Philip Peter.
I'm
You'll see Javon Simpson, and of course the half stooge.
Renard Rhythm Anderson. Renard.
I do not even believe. So, the topic we'll be looking at today is workplace relationships. Do they make sense? Are they safe? What is your position on it? Is it a case that you can get paid to work and find love there too? Or is that a little bit too much? Right?
Ambition.
Now, we wanted to share your thoughts in the comment section. Feel free to share, like, all those wonderful things. So we're going to start the conversation with the relationship expert. And we all know that is Renard. So
Naturally.
Of course.
How me become the relationship expert now?
You are the
You're
one.
the one that right.
I am learning that you have to check peer-reviewed literature.
Exactly.
And review the book. So therefore, you are the authority for the matter. You understand? So we'll start off with Renard and then take it from there.
So my take on work relation, I don't think it's for everybody. I think there have been places where persons have found love, found marriage out of working at the same place, where husband and wife are still working at the same place. So I think there's a space for it. I think if you have a problem with, if privacy is your thing, and you find it hard to balance privacy or balance your private life and your work life, you should not do the work relationship thing, because we're not gonna communicate. People are going to talk, and people are come up with their own assumptions and think that things are going to happen, or things are happening. Yeah. And if you don't want people in your business, it's best to stay out of that business. I mean, it's hard because sometimes you really like the person and you want to give it a try, but you sometimes have to say, "Oh, we work at the same place." So that's a no-no. That's a red flag right there for some. But if you don't have a problem with it, as I don't, I'm not going to share my story. My story is it's not for this. Let me share too much story in my lifetime. Write a book, I'm gonna stop. But for me, I don't see a problem with it because I'm a private person in general. I can tell you about things and tell you nothing. And I treat in an open space. I treat everybody the same. So people are gonna see that person and probably think me and a person there, and then a person there, they're gonna think the same as me with everybody. So you're not really, unless I confirm something, there's nothing that you know. So for me, it's different. But if you can't do that, if you can't be private and every time you see your person, you have to make everybody know say your person and you want to rub up and touch up on them, something, keep it out of the workspace. Yeah.
Very, very good perspective.
Yeah.
So what do you say, Javon?
Well, I agree a whole lot with Renard. It's kind of tricky, but as Renard say, I would.
Before we forget, let us point out that Renard is currently in the private sector. We are in the public sector. There may be a little bit of difference with that.
Yeah. So for me, I think that you have to be real strong, and I mean headstrong in terms of you can hold your own. So I'll kind of differentiate between the private sector and the public sector, for example. So the mere fact that I'm in a school system, for example. Listen, and a little bit of something for students know who.
Know your business, boy.
Listen, that can be problematic. It can cause a whole lot of issues as it pertains to even not only just a relationship, but cause problems in terms of work. And I always draw a reference to this example in a sense. Let's say, for example, I'm a dean of discipline. Just giving an example, and I said to a student, "Yo, you scold them in some way," and the student know who your partner be. You never hear the end of it. You see, they never hear the end of it, they never see the end of it. So I believe you have to be strong in that sense there. And on a different level now, amongst the professionals, the adults, you still have to keep it professional to some extent. As a matter of fact, you have some workplaces that will make it quite clear that they don't expect that certain persons will get it handled or whatever it is. And I'll even push it a bit further. You have some workplaces that suggest to others that if it is that them get entangled, for example,
somebody have to leave.
And I remember when I was in high school, I remember a teacher that was pretty close to somebody who was very prominent at the school. They got very close. And not too long after, one of them left. Right? And I think it was for the best. Because if the two of them they ever stay there, us being students knowing that the two of them did together, it wouldn't be an easy road for them. So I guess that's pretty much what I'll say for now. I'll pass on to Twitter.
Yeah, so for me, the major thing is workplace professionalism and decorum. Because the most recent workplace I would have been in, there are at least two or three couples there, and it didn't turn out to be a problem. Huh?
Well known?
Yeah, because they share last name and they're prominent persons in the school.
Oh.
So, at least three I can think of at the top of my head. But part of that dynamic is that they would have experience. So they may have experienced hiccups prior to, or before I got there, but I wasn't able to experience it because I wasn't in the space. Yeah. But professionalism is a very key aspect of the discussion, because when you enter into that sort of relationship, people will use it against you. Yeah. Because one of the things that come with a relationship is oftentimes it's going to be difficult to control your emotions. And when I say control your emotions, I mean if you and them vex, you might not you're not going to be as close to them, all of that. And then people may notice that and use it against you. Because I remember at one of the workplaces I would have been at, the store clerk was a nuisance to the people at the time. And she and her boyfriend did have some problem, and she took it out on me, as in she was extra aggressive. And the people them literally said to her, say, look here, nobody make it be a case, because you and so fall out, you come stress, we out. So all of these things have to be considered, that if you're going to enter into a workplace relationship, there has to be a high level of maturity on both sides to say, all right, this is home, this is work. Right? As much as possible, you try to make sure that they're both sterile environments, that whatever happens at work stays at work, and what happens at home stays at home. Yeah. Right? For the modern millennial, that may not be the easiest thing to do. Right?
Because everything I post.
Yeah, everything are feelings. I'm sensitive.
Yes. And I mean, even as Peter saying, like, it doesn't even have to be something that is factual. It doesn't have to be like them know for your facts, only it one not agree to it. Them can just make the assumption, say, because you not smile as much today, you and the person not talk. And them themselves might cause problem in your very own relationship now. Alright, me give an example. You know, you have some persons out there. I'm not gonna limit it to just one gender. I'm not gonna say just male or female do it really. I realize you have some persons out there who will try to make persons jealous intentionally. So let's say, for example, you know, women are quite often them tend to be segregated more than men, I would say, to be honest. And so let's say, for example, they realize you date one guy in the workplace. They might intentionally itch up around the guy more, laugh and talk with the guy more, all of these things. Just to actually get to you, in a sense. So that's one of the things you have to be careful of, which is why I'm going to point out you have to actually be headstrong, because you have a lot of different factors that might actually come across and actually hinder the relationship you actually have. And it might not actually be as fruitful as you wanted it to be, or as fruitful as it possibly could have been.
When Peter mentioned school, when you guys mentioned the public sector mentioned school, it came back to my memory of the experiences that I've had at school. Yeah. I think I've seen both sides of the coin, where I've seen married couples who they make it work. Like the only reason why you know so they're married is because probably them share the last name and everybody knows so they're married. Yeah.
And yeah, the one moment they like, when you finally realize, like somebody say it, they say, wait, them two did it. They got that. And it's like you start thinking to yourself and say, wait, so it's possible you can actually do it and nobody knows so not that.
Right. So people know say they're married.
Yeah.
You see me? But they don't show it up on the compound, them not make it affect their work. As a matter of fact, the persons that are married, they're not the same department.
Oh.
You know, so they don't teach the same subjects, they're in the same department. They just know, yeah. But on the other side, you had a specific teacher who had a reputation. Right? I don't know if reputation is true or false, but everybody where them see her close to, them assume say her and the person were together. And because of that, they treated her a specific way. They even had a specific name for her, which I will not call because they probably out the person. So I've seen where probably even as you said, even the assumption of it can be detrimental to you too. Not necessarily a career, because you'll probably still be a teacher, but students won't probably respect you as much as they respect another teacher. Probably the male teacher, then probably have respect for the male teacher because I'm a man and then somebody, and then I'm looking up on the woman because which is problematic.
Yeah, sad reality.
It's problematic, but it's a reality that we really have to look into. That sometimes, no matter how much you like this person, and really that's why you have to put God in it. Because if you go off of this based on your own, it can be detrimental to your career. Probably it causes contention and conflict. Suppose you had friends you had a work wife, and then you met somebody in the workplace that you want to, and then you move to them and them start dealing. But them see around the work wife and the jealousy, the problems that come with all of that. Even when you explain to them, say nothing is happening. Why would I be with you and come look at you? In the first place, if I already had her, you get what I say? And from personal views, I talk to every female at work, right? There is one specific female that everybody assumes that we are, and sometimes I back off her and give her some space, because she tell me say people used to come to her and ask her questions and assume that we're a thing. I'm say to her, so why send them to anytime somebody come to you and want to know something, send them to me, let me answer them. But they would
so I could tell you who that person is though.
You can't tell who the person is.
Or me, you don't know.
I'm not gonna do it for the recording sake. But
you don't know who the person is.
I don't know.
Unless I hide them.
Javan probably know her sister. So because she watch one of our things, that's so she know Javan, her sister. So, yeah.
Now me I think long and hard.
It's okay. Don't almost every.
I figure it out to them, man.
After me there, I say me don't know.
But we just say it's a thing that people, anytime people see a close to anybody, they just assume that something is happening, and it's like you can't be friends with the opposite sex without there being anything. There's no mutuality in being friends, and because people think that way, they treat everybody that way and look at it through that lens.
But you know, say even that, as I mentioned, that I think it highlights another problem, because let's say, for example, in a workplace where you see yourself working there for years, right? Like if nothing drastic not happen in a couple of years, then you see yourself at work there, probably until retirement if it's possible. And you have a situation where, let's say, you see somebody and you talk to them and you talk to them close, and then that person they move on. You have I'm gonna say no. It's like you have this image, or person have this perception of you that, yeah man, you're that person that talk. Somebody else come in now, you probably have an interest in another person, and you start to show that person the interest. And then for some reason, that person they gone to. Now it's like you have this.
They're gone to zero.
Yeah, because now you're gonna be known as the person where
move around.
Yeah, move around. And I think Renard said something similar to that earlier, you know. So yeah, I guess you have to be careful even in that sense too. So, but I guess for me still, friends may have still so, and that is quite.
The thing is that within the workplace, people are always looking for information that will give them an edge over you.
There we go.
Because a lot of people don't think about work just in a sense of competence or being competent or being good at their job. And this is a free one. If you just do your job in terms of being competent at your job, you're only looking at about 40 or 30% of the work. The bigger aspect is dealing with people and being skilled in dealing with people. So for some persons, they want to say, all right, we're going to do now. We say, Renard a potential, Jovan a potential. What are his weak spots? What are their weak spots? They might say I move around with a couple girls, but them not say anything will look solid. Now the narrative becomes he is a
player.
He is a I call it now. A womanizer.
Player.
And that type of thing.
Yeah.
Or they may push it to the further extreme to say, well, he must be homosexual because it don't look like him
one of them
that type of vibe. So you have to be aware of that as well. As I said, the professionalism is the key part. If you know, say you're not that type of person where you have a good grasp of self-control, nobody try to take the time. Okay, I go flat.
Yeah, man.
That's true.
Take it from me, guys. See them something I leave it alone. Isn't it? Because people, I would not try, even when they're not trying. Because I'm sociable by default. So I'm not gonna talk to every female, not every man. It's really, you know, it's a thing. I really, you know, men limited. But every female that comes into the workplace per se, I might not be close to all of them, but I'm going to talk to all of them. It's a thing, right? Yeah. So, but they even had a discussion the other day. A new girl came, and one of the girls went and warned her to stay away from me because I talk to everybody. It's not like she said, look everybody in because she knows that I'm. She knows
committed.
That right.
Mm-hmm.
But a statement there within itself still.
And then she go around and ask everybody, and then other woman I see her and they talk to every woman. I'm like, what is wrong with that?
Because there is, as a man, or in general, you have to create a sense of scarcity.
That doesn't make no sense.
It don't make no sense, but at the reality. Meaning that if you don't if you're not deliberate or intentional about your female interactions, the perception is that you're common.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. But there is virtue to it, because here the part I'm going to tell you now.
Yeah.
You will be in relationships and you don't know.
But that's
if you're not careful. Because people have this thing where them when you talk to them every day, them going at this mental fantasy and they will never share it with you until it becomes a problem.
Until there's something more contrary to whatever their fantasy is. And then
right.
That, among other things, have nothing to do with me. Right? If I never confirm a relationship, we are not in a relationship. You could have tell yourself the biggest fantasies all you want. You could have created them. You see, if I do something and you feel that way, you come to me about, oh, if you do this, I'm like, are we together? Listen, I'm plain, I'm frank. So if you reach to a point where it's getting relationshipy, I'm going to be like, we are not together.
But where does the line? The question would be now, does her line start where your line starts? Meaning, what is relationship for her? Is it the same for you? Because it could be that by the time it reaches your line, she there with you for 2 weeks, long time in a bus.
Yeah.
Right? And then, I guess in the church context, it's even kind of more pronounced because your ministry can be called into question because of these things. So, it's a little bit nuanced in that sense.
Yeah, it's true because people will probably, if yes, because we are human beings and we are by default your relationship driven, right? So if you spend time with a specific person for a while, there is going to be some attachment, right? But I don't think everybody knows how to balance it, or to balance the feelings. Like, yes, you're attached, but this is not that type of love. People don't know how to balance different types of love, right? Because they use love to cover everything, so they don't say, oh, this is just friendship love. So yeah.
I feel like we need to slow it down. I feel like we need to talk about this like a topic within itself, because I think we have a whole lot to say as regards with that, regard to that. It's on point with it, and it ironic because you find, say, I remember one time when women used to be the ones where they say, it's not a relationship unless we say it is.
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, we have reached to the place where once you communicate, let's say you're just being a gentleman, for example. You just have to do the things that you learn to do. So you probably open our door for you. You probably say, all right, then you reach home, you could, you safe, whatever it is. All of these things you do. You probably even pay for food too. Whatever it is that you do as an individual. And automatically you get put in a situation to say, yo, you're in a relationship with the person without even you knowing or consenting to it. So, yeah.
Why?
I'm talking from experience here.
So I guess we can do a part 2 to that, because as I say, it comes back down to the whole idea of scarcity.
Yeah.
In that if she's not exposed to them type of quality of living,
that's true.
All of a sudden you're the best thing since sliced bread.
I've been the best.
And she now go, and we sit down with our friend them and so I'm not really make a move to me though. And I'm gonna say, yo, you're gonna make this pass, yeah? I don't know when one next man I got, so so I guess we can look at that part in more detail in terms of what are the factors that sometimes lead to this warped, or I guess what do you call that now? The warped view, or the differences, contradiction between how the man views the friendship and how the woman views it as well.
That's true. That should make an interesting talk. That's true.
I'm gonna keep all my points until that time, because we don't understand.
Exactly.
What's that? And you know, but to conclude,
Yeah.
I think you should look within yourself as an individual to know if you can do this work relationship or not. You have to be true to yourself, you know. You have to look on all of the factors. Like when you say you're person with somebody else and walk and talk and laugh, how it gonna make you feel?
Yep.
Right? And you're gonna lash out, you're gonna become insecure and then somebody spiteful, you're gonna be petty and try to get the attention and because of something we don't even know about. Or you're gonna hold it out like a G and realize, say, yo, you and this person are not the only persons in the
universe.
In the universe and in the workplace, you know, don't have to go deal with other people.
I think honesty with self is so in my closing remarks. I think honesty and honesty with self, as I say, Renard, would be the thing. To decide whether or not you want to go down the pathway there. Because as I say, if it is that you can't be honest with yourself to say, yo, whether or not we can manage this or not, when you think at the right pathway. Yo, enough trouble that I say, you know? Like you really have a headstrong, like that's a thing about you really have a headstrong to choose that. And for you to be sure this is what you want. Because just people alone, just the factor of including other people, because it's not going to be just between you and them alone. It's going to be you, she, and the rest of people them we surround. How much other people work at the workplace and other persons will come to it.
And there's probably other persons will come in where you like too. So
right.
What gonna happen when you find somebody else where you like?
And she,
right. How that gonna work out? So it's something we have to really have to be strong about and have a huge discussion. And if you decide to deal with the person, the discussion has to be expansive and have to touch all the angles, you know, about it. And
set some boundary lines.
Yes.
Set some boundary lines for between the two of you, and also for the friend circle as well, for them to kind of have a clear understanding of where is too far.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is that familiarity breeds contempt.
Yep.
And sometimes when the husband no there, work there, the husband have more weight in terms of when talk, and then when they're working at the workplace, they say, brother, just sitting there.
Yeah.
So all of those things are factors to consider. So thank you guys for coming. Oh, me say coming out like his iPhone. But thank you guys for watching this video. Remember to like, share, and comment. Subscribe to the 2.5 Stooges YouTube channel. You will be seeing more content from us soon. My name is Philip Peter.
I'm Renard William Anderson.
I'm Jovan Simpson.
And this has been 2.5
Stooges.
Yes.
Wait, it's not work.